I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that nobody had Nintendo making an alarm clock on their bingo card. So a lot of us have been waiting for the new console, the successor to the Switch, and out of nowhere, well, I mean, not that we're expecting them to show it like tomorrow, but we're waiting for it. So to get an alarm clock was a little weird. I gotta say though, I like when Nintendo does weird stuff, so this is pretty neat to me. I don't know when the last time they did something that wasn't for a video game that was like random like this, because like they've done like Amiibo, they've done Labo, which by the way they're obsessed with the O's for some reason. But all those are related to the Switch, to the Wii U. That was a console that was made by Nintendo. I'm kidding. The Wii U just did very poorly. I love the Wii U. I will always say that I'm super glad that I experienced the Wii U because it had a sense of Nintendo magic on it that I feel like the Switch did not have, even though the Switch is in general just a better console. But this alarm clock. So I said that it was neat. I'm glad that they're doing something different. The thing is though, is that for me, it kind of just stays at it's neat because I wanted to try it and experience it, but it's $100. Well, 99.99. That to me is too much. That to me now, I don't know if the tech inside that clock justifies the price, but that's pretty expensive for something that I don't think I would ever use. I think I would use it more as a regular clock. I think if this was priced at $50, I think there'd be a good chunk of people that would get this as like like my son likes Nintendo or like my cousin likes Nintendo. I'll get this for Christmas, a birthday. Like my friend likes Nintendo. I feel like it'd be a really good like gift at 50. At 100, I feel like it's going to prevent like a good chunk of people from just not wanting to try it. Because for me, I just want to experience it and then I'd probably just use it as a regular clock. Because for one, we don't even know how well it works. How accurate is it to that, hey, I just got up, it shut off. Then there's also the factor of like, would the novelty of it wear off quickly? Like, would it start to get annoying that, like, oh, I'm moving around, like, I'm hearing a bunch of coins? Would that get annoying? I don't know. Again, I'd like to try it, but not for 100. It's just too much. I think for this product, I think it being 50, I think they would just make more if it was 50. Like, again, I don't know the tech inside. I don't know if that price is justified. I have no idea. I also could be just way off and maybe a bunch of people are going to buy this clock. I have no idea. To me, I really feel like that price point is going to shy away a lot of people that probably would have dipped in and bought it. Because as a clock, I think it's super cool. Like to have like an animated clock like that. I have the it's somewhere on one of my shelves, but I have the Game and Watch clock. And I never really just set it up cuz like I don't know, it's more designed as like a handheld game console. So I never set it up as a clock, but like it has an animated clock thing and I think that's super cool. So to have a dedicated clock that can do this by Nintendo, I think is sweet. Just not for 100. Then we come to the point of I was also reading that it said, can you use this if you have two people in bed? And it said like we suggest you use button mode. Like use button mode if you have more than one person in the bed. So already that kind of eliminates like a whole audience of people because it's like, well, I mean, I'm not gonna like if I'm married, I'm not gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna start sleeping on the other and in the living room. So no, hey, babe, you sleep in the living room so I can use the clock. Like people aren't gonna be doing that. So well, if they did, they'd have a big problem. So I don't know. I feel like already it's like this is already such a niche thing, and I don't know how many people are gonna actually care to use the alarm thing more than just the novelty of like, oh, this is neat to try. And that's why the price point's so weird. Because like if it was able to be 50, I really feel like a lot of people, just for the sake of trying it, would want to get it. Because it's a neat clock. And I like how it has like the different like sound effects that can play. It has like a good selection of games on there. I think it's so cool that they have Ring Fit. I did not expect Ring Fit to be on there, so that's cool. It's neat that there's going to be some coming out later, So like you can connect it to the internet and get updates for it. It's got cool features. I just don't really see that many people running out to buy it. And like for myself, I mean, when I get up in the morning for work, I have you can set it up so it just does it like whatever days you want it to, but for some reason I like to set them all on my own. So every night I have them saved, but I like to like select them. I have one for 4:50 in the morning, I think 4:55, 5, 5:10, 5:15, then 5:18. And that's all on my phone. I think most people are waking up to their phone. I could see maybe like a kid being like, "Oh, this is neat. This makes waking up fun." I could see that, and maybe that's like the main market of this, but I feel like a good chunk of people would have wanted to just try this out. And like I said earlier, I mean, it also depends on how well this works, because depending on how well it works, I mean, I don't know. Like, would you want your kid relying on this to get up for school? And then, like, how accurate is it on, like, hey, I'm awake, stop making these sound effects? I'm not trying to knock it, by the way. I think it's cool, but I think a lot of these things I'm bringing up, no one would really care if the price point. Well, no, they'd still care. I mean, if you're still shelling out $50, I mean, yeah, it would suck if like the alarm part didn't work that well. But like, I like the concept of it just being a clock in the first place. Like, I think it's a neat idea, and like to me, it's like a cool clock with an added bonus. Like, I feel like the alarm for myself would be an added bonus where it'd be like, oh, let me try that out. And then if like I didn't really care about it, I'd be like, all right, well, I'll just use it as a really cool clock. I don't know. I think the price point's too much. I also think it's very strange that it's starting off. Well, no. So I think that maybe they do this to try to prevent scalping, but it's kind of weird that you have to have the Nintendo Switch Online service to even buy this right now. I know it's not going to stay that way, but it is kind of weird that like having the Switch Online service allows you to give them more money. But I think it is to prevent scalpers. So like if that's the case, it makes sense to me, because the whole scalping thing is really annoying. Like I remember Amiibo, you'd have to pre-order that sucker right when that pre-order went up, because otherwise you could get screwed and you have to just spend more money. I don't know how many people were like actively scalping them, but I just remember if you didn't get the pre-orders, it was like pretty frustrating to try to get the Amiibo after. But I don't know. All in all, I think this is a harmless thing. I think it's neat. I'm glad that Nintendo's still doing stuff like this. I just wish that price point was cheaper. I like, if it was 50, I might honestly have just already bought it. I think as a clock it's neat, but I would rather them just have two versions, get rid of the sleep thing, and I'd buy this for $50 as just a clock. I really would. I wish that price point could go down, because I cannot justify spending $100 on just using the clock feature. I don't see myself using the alarm. And like I said, if you have someone else in the bed, it literally says to just use button mode. So at that point, you just spent $100 on a fancy clock at that point. So I don't know. I think the price point being cheaper would have helped this. But again, I could be way off, and this thing could be friggin' sold out and flying off the shelves. I have no idea. But in my opinion, I have a feeling that price point's going to be the stopper. The stopper for people that are like me, that would have bought it just for the fact that it's neat, and I like just to try it. Because then if you don't use the alarm, it's like, well, I spent $50, but I got a really cool clock. As opposed to, I spent $100. I guess I got a cool clock, but it was 100. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below, and take care.